pushing the narrative of division, race, politics, and the dangers of free speech. They say free speech doesn't include hate speech, but who decides what constitutes hateful speech? For me, hate speech is speech that concentrates on division that obsesses over our differences rather than unity, leading to destruction and the end of meritocracy, defining people by their color or in-group rather than the content of their soul, hurting the group most that you claim to be doing it for, sequestering them into the role of permanent victim rather than aiding them into a vision of a future of empowerment. The media leaning into any events which encapsulate their agenda, which leads anyone with a sound mind to question them all, which if one does, question the narrative or point out the flaws of their reason, you get deemed crazy or hateful, when the opposite is true. When you say things like, "We are one," you upset the hypnotic droning of the television bee-swarm mind, bzzz, which replaces the need to find meaning in places that are more difficult to make it to. Promoting self-responsibility and accountability, for instance, gets you labeled insensitive to the complexities and inequalities of the past. But maybe you just see the way out of those inequalities is to hold everyone accountable for their shepherding of their own souls towards freedom, unity, and light, by speaking from a place of faith in everyone's ability to overcome the unfairness of life. It's the only way to resolve it, because life isn't concerned about what's fair. Horrible things happen to everyone, and everyone has to take responsibility for the troubles they encounter in their way through this life. That's not to say that no help should be offered, or that some haven't had it way, way worse than others, or that the past should never be looked at and addressed and amended where possible. It's to say that to make that the center of the conversation, and the only conversation that's allowed to be had, without demonizing anyone who suggests that human beings can overcome anything when unified with purpose and encouragement, and access to their spirit in a relationship with God. When you suggest accountability and self-responsibility, you honor and respect as an equal those that you are giving that recommendation for. You don't honor mankind by suggesting that they are helpless and hopeless to restructure their place in the world. You don't honor them by reminding them of that on a 24/7 news cycle. You are doing the opposite of what you purport to be doing. You are creating an atmosphere of division and anger. You are promoting the lines in the sand around every individual and telling them they have no chance here and that they are justified to descend into madness, as you claim to be helping them. But how is that helpful? Would you tell that to a friend who is experiencing difficulties? Would you tell him to concentrate on the difficulties, on the unfairness of it all, on how they are in an impossible situation and that there is no hope at all? Or would you tell them that they can shift their reality by concentrating on the depth of what they are, and by locking into a vision of the future, which is one of self-accountability and empowerment? For empowerment only comes down the avenue of accountability. Empowerment only comes from self-responsibility. These are just the basic facts of life, which are indifferent to human concerns of what's fair. Life is famously not fair. Not fair is practically life's name tag. And if you spend your days concentrating on that, you will only bring more of that into existence. Imagine a media that 24/7 preached self-empowerment through responsibility. Imagine if they promoted the idea that no matter your situation, you can lift yourself up through diligence and faith. Imagine the effect if that message was hammered home day in and day out, the effect it would have on the people of the world. What if unity was promoted over concentrating on our differences and division? State of mind is everything. And the fact is that for any human being to elevate their soul to a place of joy, freedom, and light, it's a Herculean task, one in which your state of mind need be monitored and worked on daily. The poison radio waves of a media dead set on division and victimization and hopelessness will one day be seen for the poison it is, a hypnotic trance to capture the power from the soul of man and give it to the oligarchy to benefit no one or nothing but their satanic mind of control.